So this Cosmic Piano practice session is focused around positivity. That is the mantra or the affirmative word for this exercise. And the musical element is a perfect fourth, right? So through my Cosmic Piano course, the foundational level is just about understanding intervals and finding them on the piano. It helps you to get familiar with, hear. It also helps you with ear training and hearing and seeing, connecting what you're seeing to what you're hearing. So a perfect fourth, for example, is like from the note C to F, right? And what we're going to do is make a exercise around this whole circle of fourths. If I were to go like from C to F, that's a perfect fourth. And a perfect fourth is easy to figure out if you're not sure. It's 5 half steps. 3, 4, 5. Like there's one, 2, 5 half steps. I know it sounds a little dissonant, but there are 5 half steps within a perfect fourth. Or you can think of it as a major third, like a skip, plus a half step. All right, so when we're going around the circle of fourths, it has quite an open sound. It starts on C, and then the next tone would be F. A perfect fourth from there would be B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat. It just goes around the cycle. These notes are all fourth apart. Then B is next, E, A, D, G, C, and F. And you end up at F again or back home to C when we complete the cycle. All right, so in private lessons or one-on-one lessons, I'll give you a lot more kind of thorough explanation of that and understanding of that. You would also have previously done some of the intervals before, like the octave representing number 1, or unison, or whole steps, right? 1 step apart, those are seconds. And we have thirds, which we often hear in triads. Triads are made up of thirds. And this one, again, is based on fourths. All right, so the word for this is positivity. And all I'm going to do is start at the bottom of the keyboard. And with my left hand, just play from C to F to B flat, and then C on top. And it sounds like this. Positivity. Right? And again, in the private lesson, I would show you what correct fingering to use for that. But the idea, again, is just starting from C, then to F, then B flat, and C. Right at the end, that's a whole step, but it's C, F, B flat, C, F. And we go positivity. I'm going to hold that word in our consciousness, in your mind. You don't have to sing it if you don't want to. Some people, it's difficult connecting the singing and playing, especially when you first start. So you can just keep the word in your mind or whisper it to yourself and focus on playing. All right, the next one would be then starting on F, a fourth up from C. All right, so it's F, B flat, E flat, F, B flat. Got it? And where we end up is going to be the starting point of the next group of fourths. All right? Again, in a one-on-one lesson, I would really break that down and explain it. But today, I just want to play it for you so you will see how we practice something like this. And then how you can incorporate it into your practice time. Right? So again, first I'm just going to do one hand at a time. I think that's the best, especially if you're a beginner. And when I get to the middle of the piano, that's where I'll change hands. So I'll do some left hand playing first, and then keeping that pattern of circle of fourths. When I get to the middle or kind of a middle range, I'll switch hands. And then when I get to the top, I'm going to turn around and continue the cycle but going descending. So just have a listen first. This is really a listening event as well. All right? It goes like this. Positivity. 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 I'm going to change hands here. Still playing circle of fourths, that same pattern. I'm on F sharp now, so I'm going to go F sharp, B, E, and F sharp on top, and end on B. All right, listen, I'll continue with the right hand. Positivity. When I get to the top of the keyboard, I should end up on C like I started. Now I'm going to descend playing that and keeping that same mantra, that same word, right? So while you're practicing this, you are increasing your technique, getting to know the keyboard well, and holding the energy of this positive word, positivity, incorporating that into the rhythm of what you're playing here. All right, so on the way down, I'm going to start on B flat, the highest B flat, and keeping that same pattern like I was going up. And again, if we were in a one-on-one lesson, I would tell you the proper fingering and the best way to do that. But for now, again, just listen to the exercise, the music mantra, as I call it. All right, I'm starting at B flat at the top, positivity. That was E flat, and now I landed on A flat, D flat, right? And actually, normally I would switch hands so that my left hand is playing in that lower range most of the time. My right hand's playing in the upper range. All right, that's kind of a easy way for beginners if you want to do one hand at a time. I'll do it now with both hands together. And again, just listen to it. Start to recognize the sound of these perfect fourths. It definitely has a certain quality. And when we're doing ear training or learning anything about intervals, I tell my students always to associate the sound of the interval with a feeling or with an energy that you kind of recognize. You know, people say often like a major triad sounds happy. You know, that's a feeling or an energy, right? A minor one sounds minor or sad, darker, right? So these are all about the way intervals have a certain quality. So with fourths again, I'm going to start at the bottom. Both hands together this time. Now go a little faster just to show it that way. All right, again, starting with C, playing that perfect fourth with both hands going up all the way to the top and back down. Listen, here we go. Positivity. 1, 2, 3, 4. Positivity. 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 Turning around, descending. All the way back down to the bottom, right? And again, holding that word. When you're holding that word in your consciousness as you play, prevents you from thinking of other things and sort of, letting your mind wander. Again, when we practice, I'm sorry, there seems to be some distraction. There's some noise out. Some construction going on. I hope that's not disturbing. Anyway, we tend to, can often fall into letting our fingers play while your mind is somewhere else and not really focused on what you're playing, right? So having that mantra or having that positive word or affirmation while you're playing also centers your mind on what you're playing, right? So it's also like an affirmation. It's also like a mindfulness exercise. That's what I mean by mindfulness when I say music meets mindfulness with the cosmic piano practice, right? We try to really make it so that each of these little exercises are focusing on one thing. Again, the one thing or the musical element for this exercise is perfect fourths, the interval of a fourth. I'm going to do it again, this time with both hands together. And just to play it one more time and have a listen, thinking of that word positivity as we play it, right? I think I'll try it a little faster this time. So like 1, 2, 3, 4. Positivity, positivity, positivity. And I'll descend now, from the top going down. Positivity, positivity, right? Positivity. All right, so that's the idea, right? With that. And again, in a private lesson or a one-on-one lesson, I would really explain a little bit more. You can also just Google some of these things, like what is a perfect fourth? What is the interval of a perfect fourth, right? And like I just said before, it's actually like a major third plus a half step or 5 half steps. But this is all getting a little more into the weeds. All right now, we're going to go on to another exercise with fourths, right? So when we're doing this in the course, there's often a few ways that I like to use these intervals or use these music mantras so you don't get bored with the same one over and over, right? It's kind of fun to still keep that same vibe, but shift it a little. So this one, still focusing on positivity, is I'm going to change it a little bit so that we call it positive energy. All right? This one's going to be in 3/4 time. It feels a little different than the one before. And all I'm doing this time is just playing like the same kind of pattern with the circle of fourths, but I'm not going back to the landing on that note, that middle note. I'm just going to go like this. Play my left hand, C, F, B flat, then right hand, C, F, B flat, left hand crossed over, and right hand underneath. And again, this is more for just listening to how it sounds and how it feels, and getting a sense of how we use this for a technical practice and a mindfulness practice. So again, this time it's going to be positive energy, like triplets. All right, the other one was positivity. We're going a little bit more with this now. Positive energy, like triplets in 3/4 time with those fourths. So it's like this. Positive energy. Forget my voice today, right? Positive energy. And again, for people, if you're not really a singer, don't worry about singing it so much. You can whisper the word to yourself or the phrase inside and focus on playing. Focus on your hands. Once you get comfortable with the exercises, then you can sing if you want. I love doing these exercises. I have a couple students who are like professional singers. And when we do these and they're really singing, you know, really giving it that operatic vibe. I love that. But I also love the ones who just, you know, sing it inside, because the point of it is to focus on the word or the mantra while really developing that piano skill for your fingers. All right, so here we go with positive energy with that 3/4 vibe instead of the one before. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to put triplets on it like 2, right? Like positive energy. And then I'm going to descend. Play the same one. Right, so I'm playing the left, then right, and left, and right. It's a crossover with the left hand. So we're getting a little bit of, you know, technique practice at the same time. All right, I'm going to move on around the circle of force again. I started on C, now I'm going to F. Notice that group of notes will be F, B flat, E flat, F, B flat, E flat. And again, like in a one-on-one lesson, I will show you the proper fingering and, you know, the best way to play it, paying attention to your posture, all those things. But for now, again, just listen to it, feel that positive energy. Here we go. Oops, F. Positive energy. I'm going to B flat. E flat. Right, that's the pattern. I'm following that circle of force and just going with that left, right, left, right. And again, while you're doing it, keeping focused on that feeling, generating that energy, positive energy. Now, if you're a beginner, I always go very slowly, have you to really know what you're playing first before you try to do the continuous thing, right? So I would have you play slowly so you get the feel of what you're doing. The point is to know it, to get it, not to just, you know, breeze over it or fake it or something like that, right? All right, so it's positive energy, positive energy. Right? Okay, that's the one here with the triplets. Positive energy. The other one is positivity. This one's positive energy. It's still along the same frequency, around the same vibe, right? And again, pianistically or technique-wise, you get really used to, you know, opening your hands up over a fourth, recognizing where they are on the piano, knowing these intervals, like what a second or a third or a fourth or a fifth is. Knowing those really helps you to know chords and melodies and all these things that are like good for ear training. It helps you just develop your sense of, like, you know, finding these things on the piano with a little more ease. And you're actually watching your hands instead of reading it on notes. Now, again, when we do it with the one-on-one lessons, I can write out, or I have it actually with a program where it's written out if you need that. But the idea is to kind of see it and feel it in your hands and recognize how it is on the keyboard first, right? So let's before we go on to the very last one, I want to show you a little bit of a physical thing that I like to do with my students, especially those of us who have been playing for a long time, who are a little bit up in years. So what we're going to do is pay attention to our hands, right? People often are still sometimes are starting to get kind of stiffness. They call that arthritis. Starting to get sometimes stiffness or tension in your hands. And it's really good to do this kind of thing where you're just massaging the knuckles a little bit, focusing your attention on your hands, how they feel. I think I saw before one of my students was signed on. Again, I apologize that I started so late. There was a technical issue. But one of my students that I teach in person, I think she was on. And I just wanted she can vouch for me how this this is such a good thing for your hands, how good it feels. Whenever we're doing it at the, excuse me, at the beginning of a lesson, she's always like, that feels so good, right? And again, it focuses your attention and your mind on your hands, which we use. The next thing is this. We're going to do our fingers kind of in a circle like that, doing both sides, and then we do little circles like this for your wrists. All right? Oh, you can always, and then go the other way, right? The physical part of playing, sometimes we forget about that. This requires, like, muscles and bones and tendons and that kind of thing, right? So it's important that we take care of that. Do a good stretch in front, all the way out. Focusing on your hands and how it actually feels. Relaxing and stretching out. All right, normally I like to do that at the beginning of the lesson. Shake them out so that you get some circulation down in your fingers. And then I'll show you this last one, still focusing on positivity. This time, instead of playing the perfect fourths as single notes, like that, or how we were doing it before, we're going to play it as harmonic intervals, all together, like a block or like a chord. Right, so I'm going to play 3 tones together. They're all a perfect fourth apart. It's going to be C, F, B flat, same hand. We're also going to add a little bit of rhythm to this too, so that you have one where you can, kind of focus on that as well. So this one's going to go back to just the word positivity. And let's see, let's start this one for, instead of, you don't have to always start on C, You can start it on F, B flat, E flat group. Again, these are all perfect fourths apart. And as you're playing it, again, try to really feel and listen to the quality of those intervals. Every interval has a distinct sound. And the better you can recognize that, especially again, if you're playing or singing, or it just helps you to connect with the music a lot more. Chords and scales are built on intervals. All right, so here we go. This one with the rhythm, it goes positivity, positivity. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, positivity. And I'm going to go like this. Positivity, positivity. Right? Get it? That's the idea, that we have a little bit of a rhythmic pattern this time. I mean, they all have a rhythmic pattern, but this one is as a block chord, and you get to do a little bit of that kind of like playing into the keys, pressing in from above and pressing down, and using the piano for a little bit more of a percussion vibe, right? Don't forget the piano, we can use it in many ways. It's melodic, it's chordal, and it's percussion too sometimes. So on this one again, I'm just using that positivity. I'll go up chromatically by half steps this time. I'm kind of spreading my hands out, moving my hands, following that chromatic or half step pattern, but just opening up a little bit and using the piano more. Again, these exercises are to really help you get to know the keyboard, right? So you're going to move around, and again, once you know them well, improvise on it. All right, here we go with positivity one more time. And we're going to add another note at the end. Let's start on the G. And we'll go positivity, positivity, yeah, positivity. So I played that fourth and then went up a half step and then back, right? With that rhythm, positivity. With the perfect fourths, go positivity, positivity, yeah, positivity. Again, holding that mantra, holding that word in your mind while you're doing it, right? So it's actually generating that vibe while we play in that part of your practice time, right? So, right? As I said before, once you've learned whatever the music mantra is or the element that's in it, feel free to improvise. Be creative. That's the point of these exercises as well, to unlock a little bit of creativity and improvising on a simple thing like these three tones in that group of fours that we're doing. That's easier than first kind of jumping in and trying to improvise on jazz changes or things like that, right? Improvise from within using a simple music mantra. Or a simple music element is what I mean, right? This music element, again, is the fourths. And this time, I think I'll go back to the single note ones and do a little improvisation on those, all right? Maybe I'll kind of mix them up with the block chord one, just so you get a sense, again, of how you can really use this, all right? So just for maybe a minute or so, have a listen. Positivity and positive energy. You can divide it between the hands. Right? I went left, left, right, left, left. You know, again, maybe not changing the melody, but improvising with the rhythm. Right? Or it's not so much with rhythm. I'm keeping the same rhythm, but dividing up between my hands to make another kind of thing like that. So here we go. I'm just going to start on that A flat. Notice I went left, left, right, left, left. Positivity, 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 yeah, positivity, positivity. Positivity, positivity. Right, get it? And you can just kind of let that be the thing that locks your improvisation in place, that keeps it kind of together when you're focusing on that idea, positivity or positive energy. You can let that be the thing that holds it together, right? So that you're opening up and being free, but you got something to lock onto that keeps it all together, or the thing you're focusing on. So in this one again, the main focus is on these perfect fourths, this interval, and in the whole cosmic piano practice, we have cool exercises on each of these intervals, especially as a basis for what comes later. Again, like in the private lessons or one-on-one lessons, I tend to work on music that my students like to learn, their favorite songs or their favorite pieces. But we always do a little bit of this for the, honestly, for the technical and theory side. You're really learning music theory when you do this in a way that a lot of people think like, oh no, theory, I don't get it. You'll get it when you do it this way. So I think that's about it for today. I'm running late, so I'm going to have to stop now. I think it was still hopefully a good 30 minutes because I wanted to give you all a 30-minute session. I'm so glad for everyone that's there. Hey, that's cool. We have quite a few, like 4 or 5 people. Thank you, thank you, thank you for watching. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I hope you got something out of this and that you'll continue to join for the next ones. I'm going to do more of these live ones. And if you're interested in booking sessions of one-on-one sessions, just send me a DM and we'll connect. Thank you, everyone.